Hey guys, here with an Oath of the Gatewatch draft. The queue filled up very quickly because it's brand new. I'm actually doing this the first day it's out on Magic Online, even though this will be the second video of Oath of the Gatewatch I post. Before I pick my card here and talk about my picks, I want to say my videos are also posted on paperchampion.net. If you found my videos there, then great. If you didn't, you should check out paperchampion.net for more Magic the Gathering content. Okay, so this is an interesting pack. I think Fall of the Titans is probably the pick, but Isolation Zone is like really good. The problem with it is that it is double white. Like I can splash Fall of the Titans, which is a pretty disgusting thing to do, and play it pretty easily. You ideally want to do it with Surge, but even if you're paying 7 mana and killing 2/3/3s, it's a decent deal. But if you can Surge it, obviously it is better. Tar Snare is also fine. Warden of Geometries and Embodiment of Fury are both good too, but I take the Fall here, I think. Okay. Here we have an Oblivion Strike Pack 2. I just drafted, if you watched last week's deck, I did draft a deck that was red and black, but I guess it only splashed black, and I just drafted it. But you can't really pass an Oblivion Strike. I think it's probably the best common in the set. It's up there anyway. Reflector Mage is also very good, but it does have the problem of being 2 colors. Mav Kozilek also quite good if that wheeled, he'd be really happy. I think it'd also be happy with Unnatural Endurance, but we're going to take the Strike here. So we've got good removal so far. Oblivion Strike is super good. So is Fall of the Titans. So far the power level of our deck is pretty ridiculous, which is good. I'd be happy if I could play a deck that had more black in it. In the last draft, black ended up drying up, but I did end up playing the one Oblivion Strike. Bearer of Silence, huh? I think he's pretty good. And the rest of what we have in this pack isn't ultra exciting. Jwar Isle Avenger's fine, but I like Bearer of Silence. We are going to have to find some colorless sources, but as a 2-mana 2/1 with flying, he's already good, but on top of that, he has sort of a kicker cost that makes your opponent get edicted and they have to sack one of their creatures. I think it's the best card in this pack. Wall of Resurgence is also quite good. And like I said, Jwar Isle Avenger is also solid, but Bearer of Silence is where we want to go here. Okay. Press into Service is pretty good. If you watched last week's draft video, you watched me misclick with it because I didn't read the prompt. It says Support 2, so I was assuming I was picking for the Support 2 first, but I accidentally supported my opponent's creature and gained control of my own creature, which was not especially good. Zulaport Chainmage is the other card that's in our colors so far, but I may take Jwar Isle Avenger here over Press, or Zada's Commando even, because the Commando is quite good as a 2-mana 2/1 with first strike with an extra ability. I think I will. It's not clear that I'm going to be in an ultra aggressive deck, but Zada's Commando is good out of them. It can be like an alternate win condition if I end up with enough allies, and Press into Service is really only good in an ultra aggressive sort of style deck. Okay, so here's a colorless source and Holdout Settlement, but there's also a Cinder Hellion. Expedition Raptor is also quite good. I think I probably take the Hellion, although this does enable splashing to a greater degree, and it's a colorless source. Yeah, I'm going to take the Settlement. Changed my mind. Convinced myself. So black-red doesn't have a huge number of allies, but there are some, and Zada's Commando can sort of be a Nettle Drone impersonator. Okay, freaking Birthing Hulk, huh? That is quite the good card. Tears of Valakut's a very strong sideboard card. I think I'm going to go with Unnatural Endurance, though. It's a good combat trick, so I will take it. This is the card, I guess, depicting Chandra incinerating the 2 Eldrazi, which is pretty intense. Pretty important moment in the storyline, I guess. I don't follow the storyline ultra closely, so. But that's what I gather. So black seems okay open, and so does red. I mean, we're still seeing Those colors haven't been completely cut, at least. Okay, well, we get a Cinder Hellion anyway, although there's also a Kozilek's Translator, and I can see that as being pretty important for our deck, like to a greater degree than Cinder Hellion. I mean, we're seeing late Cinder Hellions. Seeing a late Kozilek's Translator is a pretty good indicator that black is open, by the way, so I think I will take it over Unknown Shores. I'd rather have a dude who's a mana source of colorless than I would a land most of the time. I like Holdout Settlement because it can also help you splash, so that part I do like. Okay, so we have a Chain Mage, or a Flame Seeker, or a Crumbling Vestige, which can also add mana of any color and then adds colorless. So, on its own, I think the Flame Seeker is better, but if you can get Cohort going, the Chain Mage is way better. Do I want the Vestige? That's a good question. So far, I don't think I desperately need it. I'm going to go ahead and take the Chain Mage instead. Okay, Warden of Geometries, I'm happy to take. Another colorless source on a decent body. So red doesn't seem ultra open anymore, really. We did see a couple latish Cinder Hellions, so we may end up in a completely different secondary color. Black seems pretty open, based on the late translator, at least colorless. The colorless black deck seems open. So if we see any clear signals of another color being open, we may move into it. Essence Depleter, I think I'll take that. Now we kind of do want to start prioritizing colorless sources when we're getting a card like Essence Depleter. I mean, we already have 3, right? So it's not bad. This pack, huh? So none of the cards in it are very good. Slip Through Space is only good if you somehow make a Surge deck. And the other 2 are cards that I hate and probably wouldn't play. I think I'm actually going to take the River on the off chance we end up going 3 colors or something. Okay, I'll take a Brute Strength. It's a fine trick. Don't really like Chitinous Cloak. It's not really an indicator red's open either, but we can splash for Fall of the Titans no matter what if we decide not to play red. Here, I guess I'm going to just take the rare because why not? I don't want a Bone Saw, so I think Call of the Gatewatch is better. And I guess I'll take a Sinkhole for the rare situation where you actually want to side it in. If your opponent has, you see 5 or 6 cards with Awaken in game 1, then you probably do want to side it in. But so, Goblin Dark Dwellers. Hello. I have a feeling that card's going to be worth a lot. Card prices aren't up just yet. As I mentioned earlier, I am recording this the day it came out on Magic Online. So card prices for online aren't up yet. And I haven't actually checked the real world prices. I don't play much paper Magic, so I haven't paid attention to that. But I have a feeling he'll be worth a lot, and he can fit into our deck. Right now, the only target he has is Unnatural Endurance. Storm Chaser Mage is also pretty attractive. Reckless Bushwhacker is also very good. Havoc Sower, also good. But I mean, red hasn't appeared that open to me. But I could take the card that'll get me some tickets, or that I could use in a deck, more likely than Havoc Sower. And it may actually end up making our deck, depending on. I mean, we do have Brute Strength too, I guess, if we end up playing red. I think I'm going to take the Dark Dweller. I mean, as a fail case, he's a 5 mana 3/3 with evasion, and that's a pretty good fail case. Okay. Unfortunately, Boulder Salvo costs more than Goblin Dark Dweller likes. But I think it's what we take here anyway. Although Immobilizer Eldrazi is quite good too, but we could use some removal. I mean, Embodiment of Fury is good. Immobilizer Eldrazi is good. There's a lot of good red in this pack. But I think I go for the Salvo. Oop, the previous draft just ended. So I mean, maybe it was a little risky taking the salvo there because I may end up not even being able to play red, so maybe I should have gone for a black card. Something to keep in mind on my future picks. Okay, we have Reality Hemorrhage and we have Tar Snare. I think I like the Snare more than Reality Hemorrhage, so I think it's what I'll take here. Oath of Jace isn't really very good and limited, and we're not blue anyway. Undo War Cleric's good in the right deck, but this pack is otherwise not exciting. But black's very open, I think. And Tar Snare we can get with our Dark Dweller. I didn't even think about that, but it is in fact the case. Okay, I think Vampire Envoy is good for us. We could take a Vestige. We do have an Essence Depleter, a Bearer of Silence. I guess those are the only two cards we have that like colorless mana, but the Envoy is just really good. It's a dude who can hold down the skies, gain you life, and attack. And it is another ally. We would like a few if we're going to be running our Chain Mage. Gravity Negator is actually quite good too, though. We could just move into blue-black, I guess, but I kind of want to try to make our two of our stronger cards work in our deck. So yeah, I'm going to take the Envoy here over a Hedron Crawler. Basically, I think it's better, or a Crumbling Vestige for that matter. Maybe. You know what? I am going to take the Vestige. I think we want colorless sources more, and we're going to be able to pick up plenty of like reasonable dudes in the third pack, but there aren't as many colorless sources in the third pack. Okay, Mauve, Kozilek, yes please. Definitely what we want to take. So red's looking more open now with this still around. Taking it over Seer's Lantern, which is fine, but I like the Maw a little more. So right now we have Tar Snare. I guess we'll probably also be playing Brute Strength. And we'll probably be playing Zada's Commando. Kozilek Shrieker. Okay, so here it comes down to Shrieker versus Seer's Lantern. I think I like the Lantern more. I've had it be, like, there are so many stalled board states in this format, and the Lantern allowing you to scry late I think is better than the Shrieker. And it also gives us another source of colorless, which is relevant in our deck. We have 4 creatures now that like it, so I think that's what I'll take. So if we can get some Touch of the Voids for our Dark Dweller, we'd be pretty happy. I mean, we're playing him no matter what now. He can bring back 3 spells. Granted, Unnatural Endurance and Brute Strength are both far better when you don't have to cast them like off of a Dark Dweller. I mean, you can conceal them from your opponent, but that's okay. Tar Snare's pretty good either way. Mind Melter's still here, huh? Okay, here we can pick up another source of colorless, which right now we have Warden of Geometry, Seer's Lantern, 2 lands. Do we have something else too? And it's a colorless source that comes on a solid body, or we can pick up, we have the option again of picking up a Vampire Envoy. We could also pick up Mind Melter and try to splash for it. We do have 2 sources of colorless. And I actually think that is what I'm going to try to go for here. 2 sources of blue. These both can produce blue, too. I think I'm going to try to splash the Mind Melter. It's that good, so see if we can make that happen. All right, well, another Vampire Envoy. I think we take that happily here. It's the 3rd one we've seen, and this one we will actually take. So works well with our 2 guys who have Cohort. Although the Chain Mage won't make our deck unless you pick up enough allies to make it work. Because a 4-mana 4/2 who can't regularly Cohort isn't really ideal for our deck. Okay, I think I just pick up another Warden. And I think we're pretty much set on colorless sources, I would say. I like it more than another Brute Strength. Or Comparative Analysis, which I guess we could try to fit into our deck. But, I mean, we have several creatures who want colorless mana to do their thing, so. And a weird ally sub-theme. Sky Scourer is exactly the kind of thing we want. So we'll take it. It's good to see it that late. Our deck has several colorless creatures, spells in it. And the Scourer is also good with our 2 cards with Surge. All 2 drops, 1 drops, 3 drops really are. Especially when you can have a turn where you go like Tar Snare, Boulder Salvo. It's pretty brutal. Dark Dweller can also enable some stuff with that because it can help me cast something for free. It can cast Boulder Salvo from my graveyard, I guess, for the surge cost. Does it work that way? I don't think it does, now that I mention it. No, because the converted mana cost is too high. Fall of the Titans, you technically could, but it would do 0 damage. I think I'll get Witness the End. It may actually stay in our deck. I've found it to be pretty good. This format does have a better low part of the curve than Battle for Zendikar had, but it still has a lot of stalls, and your opponent's usually holding on to a couple bombs, and you're perfectly happy to use Witness the End on them. I'm going to take Untamed Hunger here. It's not a bad thing to side in against an opponent who doesn't have a whole lot in the way of removal. Yeah, Chain Mage at this point probably won't make our deck. Maybe something crazy happens. Yeah, I'll take this. I mean, I don't think we're going to be using it, but who knows. And I'll let someone take a Strider Harness, and we will get a Bone Saw. So I have a good feeling we'll pick up a Complete Disregard or something that we're, ooh. Well, we opened a huge bomb that we're going to have to take, Dragon Master Outcast. Dominator Drone would be great for us to wheel. I wouldn't mind picking up an Evolving Wilds here, but we definitely take the Outcast here. He can get pretty ridiculous. So, yeah, that's who we take. Wouldn't mind an Elate Invoker either. Those are both cards I could see realistically wheeling. So, ooh. Serpentine Spike. See, Ruination Guide wouldn't be bad in our deck, but Serpentine Spike's too good, and we actually have some ramp because of our colorless stuff. So I think we got to take the Serpentine Spike here and get it into our deck. Goblin Dark Dweller can't do anything with it, but that's okay. Does give us another reason to have double red, I guess. Yeah, getting a Complete Disregard or Touch of the Void would make me pretty happy with our Dark Dweller. But like I said, I mean, he's fine either way. I think we probably play Mind Melter and 1 or 2 islands because these can both produce blue. Although the Holdout Settlement can only, or the Crumbling Vestige can only do it once. But still. Yeah, the Outcast is a pretty nice. The back-to-back rares on color is pretty great for us. We have 4 rares on color, and they're on all black. I mean, all red, and they're all very good. Nettle Drone, Touch of the Void. Ooh, gosh. Ugh. This is a hard choice. I mean, Sludge Crawler's good too, but it's definitely between Nettle Drone or Touch of the Void. In terms of removal, right now we have Tar Snare, we have Oblivion Strike, and we have huge bomb any removal and a Boulder Salvo. Touch of the Void works well with our Goblin Dark Dweller, but Nettle Drone works well with most of our cards, so I think I have to take it over Touch of the Void, sadly, here. If the Touch weren't in this pack, almost any other card was here instead of the Nettle Drone, I'd probably take the Touch, but it's a Nettle Drone, so I'm going to take it. Desolation Twin, I don't think our deck quite has the ramp to make that happen. However, this pack is pretty underwhelming for us. Geyserfield Stalker being an okay option. Dutiful Return is okay. I mean, but I guess I'll take the Twin. I mean, we may be able to make it work. If we can, we'll be pretty happy. Okay, a Dominator Drone, a Culling Drone. Which do I want more? Oh, there's also a Ruin Processor. Do we have any way of exiling things? We have one way. I think we still play the Processor, even though we only have one way of exiling it. I think I like it more. I mean, we do need some lower curve, probably, but I'm pretty happy with a Ruin Processor. Yeah, our Oblivion Strike exiles things. Oh, Witness the End does too if we play it. And so does Mind Melter. So we have a few ways of getting the 5 life off of it. So, I mean, I may end up cutting Mind Melter. I don't know. Just because it'll make our mana a lot more consistent than it would otherwise be. Okay, here I might just take a Looming Spires, or a Blighted Gorge, I guess, which does give me another colorless source, but if I try to splash blue, it's not so good. It's a colorless source that can also be a little removal spell, so I think I like that more than the other options in this pack. Prism Array, huh? Scour from Existence. Yeah. Our colors have kind of dried up, I would say. I mean, Scour's not bad. I guess I'll take it. It's a little slow and clunky, which I don't love, but wow. I guess Black-White's open, huh? Yeah, I think I'm going to take this Drawn as Emissary away from somebody just because it's that good and that pack was otherwise uninteresting for us. Well, Blighted Fen, too. Might play them both. If I do, I probably don't play Mind Melter, though. Crumble to Dust it is. It's a card I need a number of for sideboarding in Modern and Standard anyway, and I think I've only managed to get one so far, and that pack was otherwise not good for us. All the Blighted lands. I'll take a Plummet away from somebody. It's a strong sideboard card to be around so late. Yeah, it's just better to not play the Mind Melter, I think. I am kind of sad about that Touch of the Void. It would have made our Dark Dweller better, but our Nettle Drone's just more consistent with the rest of what we have going on. Yeah, the Chain Mage doesn't make our deck. We only have Zada's Commando and Vampire Envoy. They're our only allies, I believe. You're not an ally, are you? No. Yeah, I'll take a Stalker. May or may not make it into my deck. Probably not. It's not colorless, so it doesn't have that bit of synergy. Yeah, I don't think it's going to make it. Man, a turn 6 where I like play Dragon Master Outcast and Boulder Salvo is just a beautiful thing. Could happen. Probably don't play Scour unless I face an opponent who has like tons of enchantments that are problems, or even one or two, I guess. Ooh, I like that. I like a late Culling Drone. A little 2-drop who has a little bit of upside for our Ruin Processor. I guess our Spike exiles things too, so we actually have quite a few ways of turning on the Ruin Processor's life gain. I'll take a late Looming Spires too. I think I like our deck. I don't love it. But we do have very strong rares, and that can certainly be helpful. And we can do some crazy stuff with colorless mana if we want to. Hey, a rare. Prism Array. So this may already just be our deck. I need to look over the stuff I have in my sideboard real quickly. But it seems like this is already where we want to be. We probably have to cut one card, actually. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think we want to force Mind Melter into our deck. It's very good, but it'll make our mana less consistent, which I think is enough of a letdown that I want to avoid it. Yeah, too bad I didn't pick up any dual lands early that could have helped me with that. So, yeah, we don't want Chain Mage. Don't want Untamed Hunger. Wish I could splash Drawn as Emissary too, actually. We have two very strong gold cards. On power level, they're pretty insane, but we just can't make them work super well in our deck. Okay, so we have to cut one card. I'm leaning towards Witness the End. It's a good sideboard card against an opponent who shows me some bombs. But I don't think I want it main board, so I think we go with this. The Settlement's nice because it can produce colorless and the others. The Vestige can produce colorless once and then produce any color once and then colorless. And these two function as removal spells in a deck that doesn't have a huge amount of removal. I may end up cutting them though. Let's see what land ends up looking like in this deck, the way things are. So that would give us sort of 8 black sources and sort of 9 10 red sources. It's probably reasonable. We do have double red on 2 cards. Yeah, I think that's probably fine. I think we can probably swing running the Blighted Lands. I mean, it is going to suck. If we just like get them and not our lands that can produce mana of any color, or of colors rather. But we do have several cards that want colorless mana anyway, so I think it's decent synergy. So I think this will be our deck. We need to remember we have Scour from Existence in the sideboard. I guess Consuming Sinkhole, maybe, could be good. But I think those are the... Oh, no, Witness the End also is a likely sideboard candidate against opponents with higher curves and lots of big drops, like if we played our deck, for example. Anyway, that's the draft. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll hope you'll watch me play this deck for a few rounds.